we have a trade to break down, and it's not a massive trade, but name recognition wise, I would say it's a pretty big deal. Former MVP getting moved here. The Chicago Blackhawks, who are expected to select Connor Bedard first overall on Wednesday, have just gotten him some help as they acquired Taylor Hall and the UFA rights to Nick Foligno in exchange for RFA's Ian Mitchell and Alec Regula, both defensemen. There is zero salary retention in this deal, so Chicago will be taking on the full contract of Taylor Hall. He has a cap hit of $6 million and is signed for 2 more seasons. This is a pure cap dump for the Boston Bruins, but it's not a cap dump similar to how we saw Ryan Johansson go to the Colorado Avalanche for the UFA rights to Alex Galchenyuk, basically gave him to Colorado for free. In this mock trade, the Boston Bruins are getting 2 young right shot defensemen, both restricted free agents. Ian Mitchell, 24-year-old, second-round draft pick by the Hawks in 2017. He's played a total of 82 NHL games spread across 3 different seasons, and overall has done pretty well on a poor Blackhawks team. Alec Regula, on the other hand, 22 years old, a former 3rd-round draft pick by the Red Wings in 2018. He went to Chicago as part of the Brendan Perlini trade. Alec Regula, a much smaller sample size at the NHL level, just 22 games, but he has had a couple of really strong seasons in the AHL, so the Bruins clear up $6 million in cap space, didn't have to retain any salary at all, and get back a couple of young defensemen who could prove useful. Who knows? There could be something there. So now let's quickly talk about this deal from the point of view of the Chicago Blackhawks. Like I mentioned, they will most likely be selecting Connor Bedard first overall on Wednesday, unless Connor Bedard commits some crazy crime between now and then. Maybe that would steer the Blackhawks away. But this definitely isn't a trade that we normally see teams in the position that the Chicago Blackhawks are currently in. They're in a full-on rebuild right now. Give up younger assets for a veteran top 6 forward like Taylor Hall, who, like I mentioned, was a former MVP, has 2 years left at a $6 million cap hit. But this is a unique situation. The Chicago Blackhawks are going to be getting a franchise-altering player in Connor Bedard, who is going to be playing in the NHL right away. He's going to be playing on one of Chicago's top lines. You don't just want to throw him into that fire and have his wingers on the first line be, Anders Bjork and Joey Anderson, or Jason Dickinson and Tyler Johnson, something like that. No offense to any of those guys whatsoever, but they don't really play the kind of game that I think would really complement Connor Bedard's game very well. Even if the Chicago Blackhawks aren't a team that it's going to be competing for the playoffs next year, you still want to put Connor Bedard in a position to succeed right away, and by making this trade, you get Connor Bedard a line mate. That's really the way I view this. I expect Taylor Hall to play with Connor Bedard. I think that could be a really fun duo. Is Taylor Hall the player he once was when he won MVP with the Devils back in 2018? No, of course not, but he's only 1 season removed from putting up 20 goals and 61 points in 81 games. He's a skill player, still plays with a ton of speed, has a responsible 2-way game, and I think is the perfect kind of player to help ease Connor Bedard into the NHL. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see the Chicago Blackhawks add a couple of more top 6 forwards over the offseason, whether it's through trade or free agency. This is a trade that I definitely think makes a ton of sense for both teams, but those are pretty much all of my thoughts on this deal. As always, I want to know your guys' opinions, especially if you're a fan of either the Chicago Blackhawks or the Boston Bruins. Let me know how you're feeling down below. If you guys enjoyed this video and you're excited for more trades over the next couple of weeks and into the offseason, then be sure to leave it a like. That's the best way to show your support. And lastly, if this was your first time checking out the channel and you want more NHL content just like this all offseason long, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll talk to you all soon.